Okay, so to start the recording, at the end of July 4th, and I guess to the end of today, July 5th, there's a lot of driving, there's a lot of garbage, there's a lot of grocery shopping, there's a lot of even banks. And to get to what progressed today, I did, quote, blow out the wall, end quote, in this room, but as a result, it kind of messed with the textures in here. And just to make sure, we can also see that there was also an effort to move the door, but I decided to revert that because referring to older photos, the door actually was that close to the wall. So I decided to revert those actions, but the lighting was still messed up. So to fix that, we just rebaked the lighting with the light probes, and generally that fixes everything. But it doesn't fix everything that wasn't initially there. So what that generally means is the efforts that we did toward the corner aren't really resolved as far as lighting goes. So I believe that that can be fixed, but I have to do a little more sort of research. We still have this like wall protector, this edge protector divider, and we have to fix that. So this is generally how I like blew out the wall, quote unquote, but it was a little more specific. And so once we have those kind of details in, the only thing left to do is to kind of fill in the spaces. So the easiest thing to do is to take the floor that is now missing and just kind of duplicate what we have and move it over. Because if we were to take what exists and just stretch it over, the texture, the material would also stretch with it and kind of make it look weird. And so this way, there's a lot more control as to the uniformity that is presented. The only problem, and so just to kind of double check to see if there's any sort of malformities that have occurred in the room as far as like lighting and textures go. And then just to double check, we rebake the room, and that fixes the floor, that fixes the edge, the wall edge guard to an extent. But we still have the problem with our actual wall. And then we have gaps that we still kind of need to fill. But this one's going to be unique because even though we have a kitchenette and a washing machine that we have to kind of model, there's also a foot locker, a little cabinet that goes right here that still needs to be modeled and placed. And then we need to do things like model or texture everything else. And then we did some work with the shelf bed thing. So we added some aspects to it. So we added a cylinder for a quote-unquote handle. And we added some animations to it so that now it functions to an extent. And if we get to the actual shelf bed thing, we can actually use it now, and it opens without having a recursive or any sort of errors. There is one problem in the sense that it like intersects with the door, but in referencing older photos again, the door actually didn't open up that far because it was stopped by a wall. So it didn't actually open out larger than 90 degrees. So that's something that can be fixed. But yeah, so that was most of the efforts between the end of July 4th and today.